It's a sports betting spotlight at the Wynn Las Vegas Sportsbook with handicapper Kelly Stewart and sportsbook director Johnny Avello. We're breaking down the New Orleans Saints, who went 11-5 last year and lost in the playoffs on the Minneapolis Miracle. Their win total this year is 9.5. Kelly, what do you think for the Saints?
I'm not so high on this one, but if I have to pick, I guess I'm going to go under 9 wins. I'm going to take the plus money like I always enjoy. You guys know that. A lot of people seem to be really high on Drew Brees and a couple of his really good stud running backs. But as we kind of talked about before this video started, that several people tend to think this is a really tough division. You know, these guys have to play each other 2 times each. I'm just not sure the Saints can win 10 games. On paper, they look like they're ready to reload, win 11, 12 games, head right through the playoffs just like they did last year. But I'm a little skeptical. So whenever a bet looks a little too easy, I tend to go the other way.
Johnny, what are your thoughts?
Great season last year, but just a terrible loss to end it. I'll say that Brees was fabulous last year, as he rarely missed a target. 72% pass, and that's just unheard of in the NFL. At running back, they're in great shape. They got Calvin Kamara. He was over 700 yards rushing. He had 81 catches. His partner, Mark Ingram, he had over 1,100 yards rushing and 58 catches, 12 TDs. 12 TDs, that sounds like a fantasy guy, doesn't it, Mark Ingram? I don't play fantasy, but he sounds like one. He runs the 40 in 4.5. That's what I used to run it in, by the way, Todd.
Well, you're not 4'6"?
Yeah, I'm 9'5". Michael Thomas at wide receiver, impossible to cover. He's going to have 100 grabs. Defense was in the middle of the pack last year, and I believe they're a tad better because the second-year players are now a little bit better. They were plus 25 on the giveaway-takeaway ratio last year, which is high, and usually you come back to reality when you're that high. But they had 11 wins last year. I think they're at least 10 this year. So I got to say over to 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5 is appetizing and get the double-digit wins, and that had to be arguably one of the worst beats of all time, losing on that miracle. But Brees still, like you, Kelly, Brees still has it at 39. I'm sorry, 29, right? He's on pace. They could have a special season this year. He's on pace to break Peyton Manning's passing yards career record. As you mentioned, Johnny, 72% completion percentage. That was an NFL record. He led the league in yards per attempt, 8.1. His touchdowns were down, but only because they had a great running game with Kamara and their young defense led by Defensive Rookie of the Year, Marshawn Lattimore. Ingram actually be suspended for the first 4 games, but they'll just give the ball to Kamara more, and that should help them. They have a great coach. They added some more pieces on defense. They're favored in 10 games, the biggest underdog by 4 points at the Vikings. I'm going over as well with a possible Super Bowl run at 14-1. That's our spotlight on the Saints.